All right, so now we're recording, but welcome. Thank you everyone who has been here. This is our third time of trying to get this started. It's been a little bit of a rough bump the beginning of this year as we had a lot of transitions of some family members who no longer are enrolled here and things like that. So had a little bit of a difficult time getting it started, but we're excited today to be able to have a quorum and then have some of our members that we are newly joining us today, and you'll hear us name them and nominate them. So welcome. This is our first meeting of the year. So this is our organizational meeting. For those of you who have been on Go Team in years prior, this is new. Typically the organizational meeting of nominating and electing officers and everything happens in conjunction with another meeting. But they have separated it out for us this year because a lot of times organizational meetings are a lot. Typically, Go Team is not something where you hear my voice a lot or Mr. Mathis's voice. Someone will be nominated today to serve as the chair, and the chair will always run the meetings. Mr. Mathis and I will always have a time where we have a principal announcement, but it won't be us leading the meeting. We just serve as guest chairs for the first meeting to get it started. Is this you, Miss Cross, joining? The iPhone that I let in?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Oh, hi, Miss Thompson. Is that you? Welcome.
Hey.
We're just starting. So we are going to take attendance. So if you are new, I will not be calling your name. So because we'll be adding you today, but for people who are voted in prior, I'll be calling your name now. Just say present if you're here. So I see myself present, Emmanuel Mathis.
Hello, everyone.
Present, perfect. Miss Cross. Miss Cross is present, and Faith, her daughter, is waving. Miss Thompson. Present, thank you.
Here, present.
Yeah, thank you. Miss Harvey.
Present.
Mr. Chase.
Present.
And Miss Jordan has been dealing with some medical issues. She's sad to not be here, but she said after the 19th, she'll be fully present. So we have a quorum. Woo! We do not have to postpone it. I see you, Miss Cross. I just let you in, so you should be in now. So our first, we do have a quorum. A quorum means more than half of our members are here, voting members. Mr. Mathis and I cannot vote. And so we do have a quorum present, and so we can proceed with our agenda. And Ms. Cross is now here, so she's not on the phone with me anymore. So our first order of business today is to approve the agenda. Take a moment on your screen to just look at the agenda. You see that most of it is really just filling our seats. That's why it's called the organizational meeting. We have to fill vacant seats left by parents who might have moved or teachers who no longer work here as well. And so we fill those, and then we elect our different officers who will be the chair, who will be the secretary. We'll have a couple of announcements towards the end, and then we'll adjourn. So do I have a motion? So right now, again, it can only be those current members. So Miss Harvey, Coach Chase, Miss Cross, and Miss Thompson, who can have a motion to approve the agenda. If you motion to approve it, you would just say, I motion to approve.
I motion to approve.
Thanks, Coach Chase. Can I have a second?
I motion to approve.
Thank you. All right. So with that, do we have any amendments that need to be made? Sorry. All right. So again, voting members, we've had 2 motions to approve. If you are in favor of approving the agenda, just raise your hand. Any say nay or do not approve if you're opposed. Any abstentions, that means you did not vote. All right, so now we're going to move Just so you all know, these are our norms that we had last year. We will review them later as well. But Go Team means throughout Go Team, until we get to public comment, only members of the Go Team can participate. Anyone can join, but only members of the Go Team can speak during those times. So that's why right now, some of our members right now are going to be nominated in, and they can't yet speak or vote yet until they're voted in. When we're here, we'll work our hardest to be fully present and participating. We know we can get more ideas together as opposed to in isolation. We'll follow the agenda. We'll stay on task for time purposes. We'll be open-minded. It's okay to disagree and give pushes, but making sure we're doing that respectfully. We invite and welcome contributions of every member. We want to hear from every member. We have community members, staff members, and family members, and it's important that we hear from everyone at all of our meetings. We'll respect all ideas and assume that we always come from a place of good intention, and we'll approach differences with curiosity. Again, we know the purpose is to really drive Woodson forward collaboratively, and so doing these things in the respectful way. So now we're going to move to fill our vacant seats. These are roles that we don't have someone in right now. We have a vacancy for an elementary staff member, a middle staff member, because we know Woodson is K-8, an elementary family member or parent, and a middle school family member or parent. So we're going to start with our elementary staff. Right now, when we nominate, Mr. Mathis and I do the nominations when it's not a cycle in the spring. So I'm nominating Gina Hines, who is here. Gina Hines has been with us as Kit Woodson Park Academy since our founding year. She has served in a number of different roles. She has been on our second grade team, our kindergarten team, and our ESOL team. Gina just brings a wealth of knowledge in these different roles where she's really servicing all grades and has serviced all grades in depth and at different roles. She's a phenomenal teacher. She was one of our teachers in Kit Metro Atlanta who had the highest growth across the region when she taught kindergarten, and we took the STAR assessment, and is really always thinking of ways to partner and make things more accessible to families. Really excited to bring her voice to this team as she continues to support our ELL learners. So our learners who are learning English as a second language. So excited for her to bring that perspective to the team for all of us as we continue things for Woodson. Does anyone, Ms. Hines, if you want to say anything, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. And does anyone have any comments or questions or anything about this nominee? All right. So now we will vote on the nomination of Ms. Hines. So again, Chase, Harvey, Ms. Thompson, and Ms. Cross, you are the members who may vote. So all in favor, you can raise your hand or you can say aye if you're in favor of nominating Ms. Hines to fill our elementary seat. All right, I see Ms. Harvey, Ms. Cross, Mr. Chase. Do you have a vote, Ms. Thompson?
Yes, I was trying to learn how to raise my hand. Yes, aye.
Oh, thank you. And if you want, you can raise your physical hand too, since it's a small group. Okay, so we have 4 in favor. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, so welcome, Ms. Hines. We are excited to welcome you to our team. And so now you're officially a part and you may proceed with voting as well and fully participate in the meeting. So now we're going to move to our middle school staff nominee, and I'll pass it to Mr. Mathis to briefly talk about this staff member.
Yeah, so my staff member who I am nominating is Mr. Jared Stewart. He comes to us with a wealth of experience working in several high schools in Atlanta public schools. He currently serves as our 7th and 8th grade behavior specialist, where he supports our 7th and 8th grade assistant principal in just making sure culturally our school is meeting the norms and our kids are supported in the way in which they need to be. So Mr. Stewart, who is went to an Atlanta public school and is a senior member of Atlanta Public Schools in a lot of different capacities. So I introduce you to Mr. Gerald Stewart. So if we can go ahead and vote on Mr. Stewart, just raise your hand or just put into the chat. Thank you. I have all.
5, yeah. All right, thanks, guys. We have to take notes of everyone too, so I'm writing those down. So thank you for your patience with us today. All right, we're gonna now move. Today we do not have a nominee for our elementary parent, so passing it off to Mr. Mathis again to nominate Miss Catlin, who has been with both, but now only has middle school scholars.
Yes, Miss Catlin is a friend of the school. She is she keeps it straight with us. And we love that about her. She has been with us since the beginning with multiple of her babies. And she's entrusted us with the protection and the learning of them all. And we're just really excited to have her. So we can all vote on the addition of Miss Catlin as our middle school parent. You can raise your hand or put it in the chat.
Ms. Hines, I got you. Miss Harvey, Miss Thompson, Miss Cross, Mr. Stewart. Miss,
Welcome.
yep,
Ms.
Miss
Catlin.
Coach Chase, do you have a vote or an abstention? Voting? Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so welcome Miss Catlin as well to our team. All right. Now we are going to fill and nominate our open community member seat. So we do have one community member, April Jordan, who is not able to be here today. But you all know we have a great partnership with Grove Park and the Grove Park Foundation. And so when we realized we had a vacancy for a community seat, we really trust their guidance and advice. And so I reached out to Karen Rose, who works with the Grove Park Foundation, because she also lives in the community. And so she really knows a lot of the neighborhood and people who are passionate about this work, but maybe don't have a scholar at our school. And so she nominated Tom Zolot. Did I say it right this time, Tom?
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I knew I said it right the first time. And so without hesitation, we really trust everything with Grove Park Foundation as they lead us to be better partners in this community. And so without hesitation, Tom actually reached right out to me. And so I haven't met Tom in person yet, but in our trials already of having to have 3 go teams to make this one go team happen, he's been patient and persistent and understanding. And so I'm excited to add this different perspective of someone who doesn't necessarily have scholars at our school, but has a wealth of knowledge about the community's assets and areas of opportunity. So I'll give you a moment, Tom, just to say, what you feel like you'll bring to our team, since we're getting to know you as well.
Yeah, the main thing I would just add is that I'm on the Grove Park Neighborhood Association, specifically on their Parks Committee chair. So just looking to listen in and make sure the Neighborhood Association knows what you all need and make sure you all know what the Neighborhood Association is up to. So that's the angle I'm going to really listen from and just hope to be helpful. So
thank you, Tom. So we will move and vote on the nomination of Tom Zolot. So everyone who's already been voted in today may also vote. So all those in favor of Tom filling our open community seat, raise your hand or say aye or drop it in the chat. Thank you, Ms. Catlin. And you can drop it when I see you, Ms. Harvey, Coach Chase, Ms. Hines, Ms. Cross, Ms. Thompson, and Mr. Stewart. All right. Welcome, Tom. Thank you. We're excited to have you.
thanks.
And your perspective. All right. This was a question mark because we weren't sure if we had a nominee, but we actually, for our swing seats. So swing seats can be parents, another community member, a staff member, someone who's expressed interest of joining the team that might be in any one of those roles. Swing seats, typically do a one-year term, if I'm correct. And so right before this meeting, we actually had a nominee. So I'll let Mr. Mathis share that nominee. Mr. R. Can you hear
I'm
me?
sorry, I was trying to find the mute button, to unmute myself. Mr. R he started as a resident with us, and then matriculated to being a special education teacher, who is now a gifted and ESOL teacher. He services our entire middle school. He has been with us since we came over as a KIPP organization into Woodson Park. And so he is a founding teacher here. And he brings a wealth of experience and just love and care for this community and the school and just the neighborhood in which we serve. And so Mr. R, in my opinion, we're a great addition to our GO team.
Thank you. And I was incorrect. I looked at my notes, and actually swing seats do fill the 2 full-year term. So we will vote. Mr. R is not here. You don't have to be here when you're nominated. But he is not here today, but we will vote on the nomination of Mr. R for the position of our vacant swing seat. So all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you, Tom. All right. Oh, thank you, Mr. Stewart. I was going to say we have one abstention who had to step away, but thank you. Got you, Mr. Stewart. All right. So we will welcome Mr. R, and he will be joining our team as well. So the rest of the time, each meeting, we always have to approve our previous minutes from last year's meeting. And then the rest of the time today, we'll be electing officers. So everyone on this team, now we have a wonderful team. Everyone's present today except Ms. Jordan and Mr. R, and we'll nominate who is going to serve as the different roles. As secretary, who takes the notes during our meeting. As the chair, who will do the slideshow and presenting in the place of Mr. Mathis and myself, because the big idea, one of the big ideas behind GO teams is that principals are not voting members who are leading the meetings. So we will move to approve the minutes. So this is a little bit different because many of you were not on GO team in the spring. But our last meeting was in May of 2023. But whenever you have the next meeting, you always approve the meeting notes from the prior meeting. So our last meeting was May 1st. And so at this meeting, you can see we had our different members, Miss Lee, Miss Womack, and we went through at our last meeting. We discussed a lot of the rezoning decisions as that had just happened, as well as our STAR data, because it was the end of the year and we were showing our results. We reminded people to do their trainings and things like that. And then our notes are below. So our secretary, Ms. Womack, was helping us to take those notes. And we adjourned that meeting at 4:39. So anyone now who's a voting member, do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Thank you, Chase. Do I have a motion to second? Thank you, Ms. Hines. And we have approved the meeting notes. So I'm just writing these to do the notes later. Awesome. Thank you, team. So now we are going to move forward to elect officers for these different roles. So we have a GO team chair, and I'll briefly talk over all of them: vice chair, secretary, and then cluster representative. So a couple of things about nominations is, and I'm going to read from our list to make sure I have them all. Nominations do not have to be seconded. So if Ms. Harvey nominates someone does not have to second it. You may nominate yourself. If you feel like you may be a strong secretary or a strong chair or whatever, you may nominate yourself. You may nominate more than one person for any position. And if you feel like you're nominated and that might not be a strength for you, you may decline a nomination. Members may not serve more than 2 years in the same position at the same school, but because our team is very new this year, we don't have that this year. Nominees do not have to leave the room, our Zoom room, while you're being elected, just like we just did. And then if there's more than one nominee, let's say for secretary or whatever, you can have an opportunity to share why you think you should be selected to that seat, excuse me. Newly elected officers will assume their position at the end of this meeting, and then you'll serve it for the entirety of this 1 year until our next meeting next year of our organizational meeting. So if you're the secretary, you will start taking notes at the next meeting. And then at this meeting next year, you would also take notes. So I wouldn't be doing both like this year. All voting members have 1 vote per seat, just like we have been. So when we're voting on chair, you get 1 vote, even for yourself, if you're running for it. Of course, Mr. Mathis and I will always work in partnership with you. So if you are the chair who is preparing the materials ahead of time, the Go Team office itself with Atlanta Public Schools is phenomenal. You'll get emails, resources. They'll say, hey, it's your second Go Team of the year. You should talk about these things. Hey, it's your last Go Team of the year. You should talk about these things. Carolyn has been at the last 2 attempts, so they join our meeting a lot and are just very caring and supportive. Mr. Mathis and I will always support you too in preparing the meeting, but of course it's your meeting, and so we want to make sure we honor that. Secretary, same thing. There's the same agenda that we tweak each time, but it's the same template. You mark who is present. You mark who might have motioned to approve, who gave the second, and then you just take general notes of the topics that were discussed so that it can be posted on our website for public viewing. The vice chair is someone who would run the meeting if the chair was absent. It's also a partner who the chair could be like, hey, I made our agenda. Can you look at it before I send it out to the team for feedback to see if I had typos? So they can get partner there. But if the chair has to be absent, the vice chair would assume running the meeting. Because again, this isn't a meeting I will be leading. This is just, I'm serving as the interim chair today. The cluster representative is someone who will attend. We are in the Douglas cluster. And as an Atlanta public school, just like Mr. Mathis said, Mr. Stewart knows this well from his old school, but you have to have Go Teams. It's a governing body that all Atlanta public schools have to have. And so there's cluster meetings for a year, typically on Zoom, that you attend to learn more about the happenings in the Douglas cluster and can even share back at our Go Team meetings, as well as at that meeting. If you have anything you want to share about Woodson, you can share that. Those are on Zoom. There's 4 a year. So you would attend, you would learn about the Douglas High School, John Lewis, all the other elementary schools, and just what is happening in the cluster. So similar to what Tom was saying about keeping abreast of the neighborhood, we're also keeping abreast of our cluster of schools and sharing all of our things with them. So before we open the floor for nominations, does anyone have any questions about those different roles and just what they entail? Okay, so we're going to start. We'll go in this order. Oh, do you have a question, Ms. Cross? No, I don't think so. Okay. Do you have a question, Ms. Catlin?
No.
Okay.
That was me. I was saying I want to put
Okay.
this role instead.
About the chair?
Yeah, about the secretary role.
The secretary, each meeting, while we are presenting, you'll take notes. And so there's a template that Go Team creates. You would mark who's present, who's absent, as well as when we have a motion to approve, you would jot down like, oh, Ms. Hines motion to approve it. Who seconded it? Miss Harvey. And then just writing short bullet points of like, maybe we talked about test scores and you would say, you know, we talked about this. Last year, we were trying to problem solve attendance issues and we were talking about bus stops. So you would just synthesize the notes from that meeting. I always help We usually do it on Google Drive, so I can also help with that when I'm not leading the meeting. And then Mr. Mathis and I post it to our website after the meeting, but it's just taking the notes.
Okay.
So we're going to start with chair first, and we'll go in that order. So remember, the chair is someone who will, a lot of the role is leading the Go Team meeting. You'll work with Mr. Mathis and myself about the agenda. You'll send it to us ahead of time. Hey, do you have anything else to add? You'll ensure and just navigate that everyone is able to participate in the meetings if they want, you know, asking them for perspective and things like that. And then just helping us monitor our compliance, making sure we're having our meetings and things throughout the year. Again, the Go Team charge at Atlanta Public Schools is super helpful with this. So I'm going to open the floor to receive any nominations. And remember, you can nominate someone else or yourself. So any nominations for chair?
I'll do it.
Oh, Miss Catlin, you and I are going to be talking a lot, I see. Okay, Miss Catlin, one nomination. Do we have any other nominees? Okay. So if there are no further nominations, we'll close the floor. And we'll begin the confirmation process. So right now we have one person who's being considered for the chair seat, and that is Miss Priscilla Catlin, who is one of our middle school family members. Do you want to say anything, Miss Catlin, about why you would like to do this role?
Well, I would like to do the role because Kip Woodson Park, and I'm a family member of the school. I've been there with you guys for like 4 years, and I'm just excited with getting involved and helping with kids and the school.
Thank you. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Miss Catlin? Okay. So at this time, if you would like to vote, please raise your hand to vote for our one choice. If you vote for Miss Catlin to be our Go Team chair for the 23-24 school year. Coach Chase hand went right up, Miss Catlin. Thank you, Miss Thompson. I see you. All right. Thank you, Tom. I saw you come off mute. Thank you. All right. And so we have one abstention. Mr. Stewart had to step away. So I'll write that for now. All right. So now we will move on to elect our Go Team vice chair. So remember that as the vice chair, you're working in tandem with our chair, Miss Catlin. You can help her as well as the principals to develop the agenda. You will run the meeting if Miss Catlin cannot be present at one of our meetings, and just helping to make sure as Miss Catlin's running the meeting that we're following parliamentary procedure. It can be hard sometimes. That's why I print my notes to remember to say, do we have a motion to approve and second and all those things? And so as the vice chair, you would just help to make sure we're following that and interjecting if not. So I'll open up the floor now to receive nominees for our vice chair. Ms. Hines, for yourself. Okay, so Ms. Hines nominates herself. Do we have any other nominees? All right. Would you like to give a brief little synopsis, Ms. Hines, why you nominated yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I know it's afternoon. Yes, so I have experience obviously with leading some teams and also leading conversations around our students and our families, a part of the Woodson community. And also I'm here to also, you know, be as a stand-in to Miss Priscilla and help support in any way and hold people to high expectations and making sure our meetings are running as smoothly as possible and as seamlessly as possible.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So does anyone have any questions for Ms. Hines? Okay, so at this time, we will vote for our one nominee, Miss Hines. So raise your hand to vote for Miss Hines if you choose and vote for her to be our vice chair for our Go Team for this school year. I see Miss Harvey, Miss Priscilla, Miss Cross, Miss Thompson, Mr. Stewart. Thank you. All right, congratulations to Miss Priscilla, Miss Catlin, and Miss Hines, who are serving as our Go Team chair and Go Team vice chair this year. Now we're going to move to our Go Team secretary. So just like I shared earlier, you're taking the minutes during the meeting. So participating, but also taking notes, whether right into the Google document right then, or, you know, jotting down your notes handwritten and then inputting them in after. We always have to post our meeting notes 24 hours after. We have about 1 day to post them to make sure we're following the procedure. So you would help with that, just sending them to me to get them posted and just making sure we're, again, following our process. So I'll open the floor now to receive secretary nominations. All right, I see Ms. Cross hand and Ms. Thompson's hand. Perfect. So we have 2 nominations right now. Do we have any others? All right, Ms. Cross, I'll give you a moment to say why you'd like to be a secretary, and then Ms. Thompson.
I'm a parent at KIPP and involved member of the KIPP Woodson Park Academy School. I'm very involved with different events, and I've been in and out of the school for not only events but field trips. I volunteer a lot, and I'm just here to make sure that I do my part in helping make sure that this team thrives.
Thank you. And Ms. Thompson, why would you like to be the secretary?
Hey y'all. So the reason why I said I can be the secretary, I'm good with note taking. I'm good with like listening in and writing down everything and remembering everything. So I feel like that plays a big part in it. Like I'm hands-on, but one thing I remember is, okay, I need to write this down, I need to write this down, I need to write that down. So I feel like it would be very good for me because I know how to just remember everything and write it down detail by detail, making sure everybody get an understanding of what's going on.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the group for Ms. Cross or Ms. Thompson?
No.
All right, so at this time, we will close the floor and we will begin the confirmation process. So we have 2 people for secretary being considered for our secretary. Remembering as a voting member that you get 1 vote. So we'll go in order of those as they spoke. So first, raise your hand to vote for Ms. Cross for Secretary of Go Team. Okay, thank you. Now raise your hand to vote for Ms. Thompson as Secretary of Go Team. Thank you. All right, so we had 2 abstentions of team members who had to step away for a minute. We had with 3-2 for Ms. Cross. And so you will serve as the Go Team secretary for this school year. Thank you, Ms. Cross. Congratulations. All right, our last member we will vote in today or nominate is our Go Team cluster representative. So remembering here, you will share out about KIPP Woodson Park at cluster night, the 4. You would just, if there's time to share, or you just listen and then bring back to the team anything that might be good for the group about the cluster that you learn from the Douglas cluster meetings. So there's really about 4 a year, and those are on Zoom. So anyone who have a nominee for cluster representative? Miss Harvey. Thank you, Miss Harvey. And Miss Jordan did it last year, who's not here. Any other nominees? All right. Do you want to say anything, Miss Harvey, about why you think you would be a good fit?
Being a founder at Kip Woodson Park, I've learned a lot about the community, being a native of Atlanta, and just being able to go and listen to the different topics that are at meetings and bring the information back to share. I think I would be a vital asset in doing that.
Thank you. All right, so with no further nominations, we'll close the floor. The nomination right now we have for cluster representative is Miss Harvey, one of our staff members. So at this time, raise your hand to vote for, if you choose to vote for our cluster representative for Miss Harvey for our Go Team for the 23-24 school year. Thank you. I see. All right, thank you. So at this time, we had 2 abstentions, and then otherwise, oh, Miss Harvey, you didn't vote for yourself. So 3 abstentions. Oh, okay. 3 abstentions, and then, well, 2 abstentions and 6 votes for Miss Harvey. So congratulations, Miss Harvey. And the Go Team will make sure you get those links. The APS Go Team will make sure you get the dates for the Douglas Cluster meetings. All right. Most Go Teams are not this long. I promise. It's just because it's the organizational meeting. So now we're just going to move to approve our public comment protocol. So as I mentioned, only members of the Go Team really can participate in commenting on the different items of agenda for the Go Team. However, we also have a time for public comment. So if another family member or community member wanted to come and share concerns or ideas or praise or anything, they would have time to speak during the public comment section of the agenda, typically saved towards the end of the agenda. And typically people who would like to publicly comment have about 2 minutes per person to comment. So these are the requirements from Go Team. We have to have at least 4 times in a year out of our 7 meetings. It has to be noted on our website and our agenda. Go Team members don't provide responses or engage in direct public comment, but really just listen and hear the concerns of the public. So we are going to decide here how we want to have those public comments. Sorry, there's a bug right here in our Go Team meetings. So we only have, I'm trying to go to our dates. Yes, we only have 6 additional meetings. These are the dates that, and we're going to approve those in a moment. So what we have done the past 2 years as a Woodson Park Go Team is just had opportunities for the public to comment at each Go Team. We haven't traditionally had a ton of public come to our meetings for Go Teams. We have lots come for family events, but not Go Team. And so we made that decision because we felt like it was easier for family members to know every Go Team you could come and publicly comment if you wanted. So that's one method. Otherwise, we would just identify certain meetings. So I just open up that for the team of if you think we should leave it at every meeting, having it at the end if there's an opportunity, or if we just want to identify 4 of the meetings where the public can comment.
For the meetings.
You think 4, Ms. Catlin?
Yes, I think 4.
Okay. And then otherwise, does everyone agree with this protocol that's listed on the screen? I see some nodding.
I
Okay.
agree.
Okay, and so at our next one, at our meeting calendar, we will pick the dates, but do I have a motion to adopt this public comment protocol? Thank you, Ms. Hines. Do I have a
Yes.
motion to second it? Thank you, everybody. All right. Lots of seconds there. So we have to have 6 meetings, just like Ms. Catlin said, we have to have 4 for public comment. We cannot hold them during the school day, and we have to record them. So our suggestions for meetings this year would be 4:30 p.m. like today, the first Monday of the month, but not when we have holidays. So those dates are listed. October 2nd, November 6th, December 4th, February 5th, March 4th, and May 6th. Does anyone have any concerns or want to amend any of those dates? If not, we can have a motion to approve the calendar.
I'm sorry, y'all. My phone went dead. I'm back, okay?
No, thank you, Ms. Thompson. Does anyone have a motion to approve our meeting calendar?
I approve.
Thank you. A second?
I second
Thank
and
you,
third
Ms.
it.
Hines. We're not allowed to, Mathis.
Hey, let's keep it pushing, baby.
I know. All right. Now, these are the norms that we shared at the beginning of the year. If everyone will, the beginning of the meeting. Does anyone have any changes to these norms of operation?
No.
All right, so can we have a motion to approve? Thank you, Ms. Cross. And a motion to second. Thank you, Ms. Harvey. And then I see the voting, 100%. Awesome. All right, so as we close out today, what we wanted to leave you all with as we continue to grow with Woodson is just attendance initiatives. So when we come back at our first October meeting, at that meeting, because it's not an organizational meeting, it won't be this many votings or things like that. We'll just have to approve the agenda, and Mr. Mathis and I, one of the items will be, we'll share some of our beginning of the year map data. But we also just want everyone to just bring some ideas of how we can continue to increase attendance at Woodson Park. We know our team members here, Ms. Catlin, Ms. Thompson, and Ms. Cross, their scholars are here every single day. And so how can we continue to support our community to bridge that gap? So if everyone can just brainstorm some ideas, so when we come to our next meeting, we will have those.
Okay.
And we'll share those next time. Oops, sorry guys. So with that, as we are closing out, does anyone, as I'm pulling back up the slideshow, have any announcements for the group?
Not right now.
All right, so the only one we have to share from Go Team is make sure if you have already joined, so Mr. Chase and Ms. Harvey, Ms. Thompson and Ms. Cross, making sure that you do your trainings, your Go Team orientations, those are online, so looking in your email for those. Right now, you can find your name on my screen. It's loading right now. Let me just read it off. So right now, Ms. Cross, you're done. Ms. Thompson, you just have to finish your online orientation. Same with Ms. Harvey, just your online orientation. And Mr. Chase. Everyone else who's newly voted in today, you will get those soon. So just keep an eye out for your email and make sure you complete those. But otherwise, thank you all for your time today. We've reached the end of our agenda. So have a great, great evening, and thank you all for your time today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.